Fellas, President of Namibia, Madame Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah, has urged Germany to get ready to pay reparation for the negative things they did. Crazy stuff! I've seen some bold people very lately, but Mama Netumbo Ndaitwah is definitely on top of the list.
So help me God.
This lady has come with so much power and strength and the need for change that is urgent in this country. This is Namibia here on the map. Beautiful place, lovely people. Well, Namibia is a beautiful landscape. In Namibia, you find the sea meeting the desert. The sea next to it. Look at that. Look how beautiful that is. Amazing. Amazing. Now, the president, this lady right here, this mama, you see in Africa, everybody that could be your mother, we don't call them aunties. No, we call them mama. Okay. You will see some people say auntie, but those ones are been very much influenced by the West. In most cases, in many African people, the next person's mother, you call her mama, just like he calls her mama. So it's respect. The lady president Netumbo Nandi Ndaitwah repeated calls on Wednesday for Germany to pay reparation for its genocide against Namibian tribe, as she led the first official commemoration of the atrocity more than 120 years ago. First official commemoration more than 120 years ago done by this lady. And she's not playing. She said, you need to pay reparation. You need to pay reparation. Stop bullshitting us with all these talks and stuff. We need reparation, okay?
Justice for Africans and people of African descent through reparations. This theme is talking to the engagement between the two governments, the Namibian government and the German government, and asking the two governments to conclude the negotiation on genocide, apology, and reparation.
The story is very simple. Namibia is one of those countries that was colonized by the Germans. And back in time, the Namibian people were not yes sir type of people. And the Germans were very brutal. And they unalived many Namibians for not wanting to bend over to them. Some reports talk about 80,000 indigenous Herero and Nema people were massacred by colonial German troops between 1904 and 1908 after they rebelled against their rule in what is regarded as the first genocide of the 20th century. Right? Well, when you hear about genocide, what country do you think about? When you hear people talk about genocide, what country you know the country you don't name. That's what they talk about when you talk about genocide. But this was the first genocide of the 20th century. When they talk about the most atrocious people in the world, the first person they show you is this one. Sometimes they talk about African dictators. They talk about this one, right? And sometimes they talk about this one. Sometimes they talk about this one. But they don't talk about the Germans and what they did to the Herero people. They don't talk about them. They don't talk about this one. He unalived more than 7 million Africans in the Congo. Why? Because he wanted to take rubber. You know, rubber, you need rubber to create tires for cars. And at that time, companies needed tires. That's when the car was created. So he needed tires. He saw that as an opportunity to make business. What do you need to create tire? You need rubber. Where's rubber? In the Congo. So he went to the Congo, made this land. Look at this Congo, the entire Congo belonged to him as a person. Not to Belgium, but to him as a person. And he forced people into forced labor to go get rubber from the trees and the forest every day. Everybody had a quota, like a certain amount of rubber you had to bring per day. If you don't bring that amount of rubber, what they do is they chop your hands off or they unalive you. He unalive 7 million people, but when they talk about the most atrocious people who have ever lived, they don't ever mention these guys. But they only mention this one, Hitler. We should find a degree of comfort in the fact that German government has agreed that the German troops committed genocide against the people of our land. Fellas, Berlin has offered an apology, okay? They say they're sorry. They agree that they're going to have a reparation talk, but they have not paid, okay? Then later on, they say, okay, we are going to commit $1 billion to pay you, but they haven't paid. But they say sorry. It's a little bit like the country you don't name. Every year, they have a memorial day about what has occurred to them 50 years ago. But they ask you to forget slavery, forget colonialism, and get over it. It happened for hundreds of years in a row. And Colonialism is like yesterday, but they expect you to forget. But them, no, they must remember because you must respect it. You can't forget. And also what I found very interesting is Madam President said there need to be reparation. Why should there be reparation? Because look at other people. They've been repaid. They've been paid. I mean, the country you don't name, they had an agreement in Luxembourg in 1952. The reparation they got in 1952 was $720 million. 1952. Later on, $1 billion was committed to their cause, and they're still paying. Well, that's not the only case. Let's think about the Native Americans, American Indians. You know, natives also went through the most because they were unalived by European Americans. You know who European Americans are. I found it funny when I saw one of my African Americans mention that they are being called African Americans, not Americans. And the white people are considered as Americans, black people are African American. Is that fair? Why isn't white people called European Americans, and African Americans started calling white Americans European Americans, and they seem not to like it very much. Anyway, they were awarded $800 million settlement for various tribes. And later on in 2020, the Cobble settlement provided $3.4 billion for Native Americans over mismanagement of trust fund by the US government. So other people getting billions of dollars, they say, okay, sorry for the situation, get over it. You need to move forward. You know, these are old stories. You can't dwell in the past. You know, the future is not defined by the skin of your color and the things that you've gone through. Today is what matters. Right? The Namibian president said this is not going to happen in my country. Okay? You need to say sorry, acknowledge that you unalived many people in the genocide, then you need to pay reparation. Isn't that amazing? Now, we need to mention that this lady came into power and immediately reversed something. Many Europeans could come to Namibia visa-free. Yes, and Americans and Canadians. But in the meantime, Namibians have to have visa application to go to Europe or America. Then she said, you know what? Thank you very much. You can keep your America and Europe. I will keep my Namibia. So for all of you to come to my country, you need to have a visa too. Congratulations. Pick up my coffee. Yeah, some more. Let's go. Now, as opposed to some other African countries, I mean, like Lesotho, that's just opened its border to all Europeans saying, oh, you guys can come to Lesotho. We want you for tourism and business. But Africans, no. Africans, only 17 countries in Africa can come for a couple of days. Now, is it good or bad? Well, Lesotho said they have a reason for that. They need tourism, and Africans don't spend money on tourism. So they rather open the door for, Americans and Europeans and open doors for you. You let me know how you feel about that. In the same token, Namibia said if you do not reciprocate the visa open policy that we have for you, then we don't want you here. You can stay in your country. It's fine. We're going to be just fine. Don't come. Keep your America. We're going to keep our Namibia. Tell me how you feel about this lady, Mama Nandi Ndaitwa. And now we are moving to Uganda. Yes, fellas, this is Uganda. They call it the Pearl of Africa. Uganda is a very interesting place. I think it's one of the partiest people in Africa I've ever seen. Crazy. They party on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It's crazy. It's insane. But it's relatively safe. It's beautiful. People are very friendly. Go have a look at Uganda. You like it. They maybe make you eat that food. What do they call it? Chikomando. Huh? Chikomando? Is it Chikomando? Yes, I believe it is Rolex and Chikomando. This is Rolex. Okay, interesting. And Chikomando. You must go check it out. Fellas, the Ugandan army has launched an emergency airdrop food relief operation in South Sudan. Congratulations. Pick up my coffee. Yes. Ugandan's Air Force has flown to South Sudan to drop food for South Sudanese. This is crazy. We have to pick up my coffee. You know why? Because pick up my coffee first. Let's go. Why? Because we see this usually coming from Europeans. Europeans go to the shadow country, drop food. We don't see African people do that. Okay, the neighboring countries going through the most. They have no issues, no way of getting food. Another African country flies an aeroplane and drop food for them. It's amazing. Now, what's happening in South Sudan? It's mayhem, havoc. People are unaliving each other left, right, center. Big time, bad. These are South Sudanese people. They're good-looking people, very tall. The tallest people on earth, it's them. I believe the tallest basketball player at some point was a South Sudanese guy. I'm not sure whether it's current or not. Beautiful. They all average beyond 6'2" or something. Average 6'2". So you find all these ladies are 6'4", 6'5", men are 6'7". Yeah, that's if you 6'1", you short in South Sudan. Now, South Sudan has an issue. What is the issue? South Sudan used to be Sudan. Look at the map. It's a map. South Sudan used to be one country with this northern named Sudan. Sudan itself has many ethnic groups, but it's two major people. There's the northern people that are Arabic or Muslim, if you prefer, or Berber, and southern people that are mostly black, like Sub-Saharan Africa, dark like this. It's a very long story. If you want to know more about Sudan, you can check another video we made about Sudan. But just to be quick, the northern people, Arabs, were controlling the country. They had the administration, they had the army, they had the finance, they had everything. The other Sudanese, the black people, were just little slave with nothing. Most cases, they were nothing prominent about them. They felt neglected, their provinces were not looked after, so they wanted independence. And throughout that time, they were being unalived bad. So they said they wanted to be free, so the black people can have their own country. A time came where the country was split into. The northern part became Sudan, the southern part became South Sudan. But then the very same people that wanted to be by themselves started fighting each other over leadership. They've unalived each other bad. I mean, you are the people that were fighting for freedom, saying that other people are killing you because they are Arabs or wannabe Arabs or naturalized Arab or Muslims, if you prefer. And you are Southerners, you are darker, you are black. And now you are unaliving each other after you got the freedom. This is very, very sad because this makes me think of something one of the apartheid people said in South Africa. He said black people cannot rule themselves. If you give them weapons, they're going to kill each other. If you give them power, they will subdue one another. So these brothers wanted to have their own countries. Now they're fighting each other again. This is crazy. Now, Ugandan government felt like they cannot drop them, because people are really suffering. Let's go and fly and drop some stuff to them so they can be okay. Congratulations on that. Thank you very much, Uganda, for that. Let me know how you feel about this, fellas. Madam President from Namibia, urging Germany not just to recognize, but also to pay reparation for the negative things you've done. Stop making us wait, telling us, we must forgive each other. No. Where's the money? God bless.